Welcome to the Scott Horman Podcast. I'm Scott Horman, and after spending decades as a player, coach, and mentor, I've learned that the greatest lessons in baseball have very little to do with batting averages, earned run averages, or championships. They have everything to do with character, leadership, perseverance, faith, and becoming the kind of person other players want to follow. Each week, we'll have an honest conversation about baseball, high school sports in general, coaching, parenting, player development, recruiting, and the moments that shape young athletes long after the final out. Because at the end of the day, trophies collect dust, character lasts forever. Welcome to the Scott Horman Podcast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Scott Horman Podcast. I am very lucky today to have a young man that I have known since I think he was 8 years old, maybe 9 years old, watching him run around the fields. Casey Opitz, new offensive analyst at Arkansas, coming off your pro career. Case, thank you for being on the show. I know you're getting crazy with interviews and stuff as this is happening. I know the people at Arkansas are going nuts. So thanks for being on with me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem. Excited to do it.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's talk a little bit. We'll give you a little history on Casey and then we'll talk about the future and where he's heading. Casey's a Colorado player that, man, I tell you what, he blew it up here in Colorado growing up. And you know, the Opitz family, people don't know, but they're kind of baseball royalty in the state of Colorado with your two older brothers and your dad and all the people that have done so many things. Talk about your time at Heritage and how you prepared to get recruited by Arkansas.
Yeah, man, baseball's been in my life forever. Heritage baseball, I'd grow up and run around the backfields, not even worrying about the game for so long that eventually my dad had to wrangle me in and be like, hey, how about we sit and watch the game? How about we learn something a little bit? So, I mean, I have a bunch of memories running around baseball fields everywhere, all around the country. We'd load up the Suburban and we'd get stuck in the back of it. I'd wake up when we were at a baseball field and we'd watch a game. So, you know, that's a reason for a lot of the things in my life that I'm so blessed with. But, you know, Heritage was, you know, an incredible time. You know, it's a weird time trying to get recruited. I was pretty late getting recruited. I didn't commit until like going into my senior year, which I'm sure that's crazy now. Even then it was crazy. And that was, I don't know, 10 years ago. But it was really cool. I mean, you had a huge part in getting me in touch with Van Horn, and Tony Vitello was the assistant coach there at the time. And he came out and saw me. I think I hit my only home run of my sophomore year that day. I remember getting quick pitched and just kind of like panic turned on it and it went. And with those short fences, it looked like a nuke when, and then after that, we kind of kept in touch with Vitello. I talked to Van Horn for a few months, just trying to figure it out. I was weighing some other schools and, you know, I didn't go visit any of these places.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird time, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, hey man, we can pay for you to when you know, officially sign here. But up until then, we just kind of got to know. And it was like just the pictures and hearing about Van Horn. And, you know, my oldest brother, Jake, was at Nebraska after he left, and people around there had nothing but good things to say about him. Just talking on the phone with him, I was like, this is a dude I want to play for. So Eventually, you know, I made the best decision of my life and committed there.
Yeah,
second best. It was second best. Weird. I got engaged the other day. Sorry.
Exactly.
That was the best decision of my life.
That one just passed your first decision that you were talking about. But that recruiting situation was kind of crazy because what ended up happening was you came, I kind of said, hey, I remember I was working at Heritage at the time and I said to you, are you happy with, you know, where you're at? And he goes, I want to play in the SEC. Will you look up all the schools in the SEC? And Arkansas was one of the first schools because I just went alphabetically, right? Like I just, you know, so I literally went and I saw their indoor online, and I remember sending it to you and your brothers, you know, Jake and Shane, and I'm like, and you were like, hey, can you get in touch with Van Horn? And I don't know if you knew this, but it took me 2 months to get in touch with him. Like it was not easy to get a hold of Dave Van Horn. Yeah. Like I called probably every week or twice a week. And finally, he called me back and said, you're pretty persistent, you know? And I said, well, listen, I said, if you don't take this kid, if you don't look at this kid, he's going to be playing for somebody else. He's going to be playing against you instead of for you. And I remember, I think 2 days later, sorry, my notifications are going off. 2 days later, Tony Vitello was out there, and he was watching practice and saw you play. And that's when I was like, oh God, he's got a chance to go to Arkansas. And when you made that decision, I was so happy for you, so excited. And that'll lead us in, Colorado and your brothers and everybody and your dad and your mom and your family, they had so much of an influence in your life growing up. But really what ended up happening was, you made a decision that was best for you. And then when you got there, talk about when you got to Arkansas and how that kind of made you grow up pretty quick, because you were undersized. You were, you weren't like the other guys. I remember the catcher at the time there was like 240 pounds, right? Like he was almost,
no doubt.
So,
I mean, it was such a whirlwind of excitement, like with my family and me, of picking that. And you look at the pictures of that place and it doesn't do it justice at all, especially now. They've had it on I don't even know, $30 million facility that I've seen a few times, but it's like, no matter what picture you take, it's like, until you walk in there and like actually see it, it's just, I'm getting goosebumps, like thinking about it now. You don't get that until like the big leagues. And even then it's like some facility, it's like, you won't see anything like this. So like actually showing up there, and it's like, I didn't have the body type of my brothers. Like they were bigger, like guys earlier than I was.
Yeah.
I think that first weigh-in at Arkansas, I think I wrote down 160 pounds. I was lying, like out of my teeth, probably, just because like I don't want to write down 140 and just get like, have a meeting about like, dude, what is going on? But they have such a good strength program, and I just remember I was eating whatever I could to just get up and weight. Grant Cook was there.
Yep.
He was a 4th, 5th rounder. He went to the Pirates after his junior year. But he was a great dude. He's a great dude to learn from when I first got there. And just seeing like who we're going to go up against. You're going up against, it was Brady Singer. We had dudes like Blaine Knight. There was all these huge names that are going to be in the first round this next year. And it's like, all right, so you got to put on the weight, you got to put on the muscle just to kind of grow and evolve to be able to compete with these guys. If not, you're going to get left behind. And that's just the nature of the business. So, that's something
it was never your ability, because your ability was there. Like catching wise, you were one of the best in the country as far as I was concerned. You played for one of the best in the summer. You played for Cincinnati Midland, won 2 Connie Mack championships with them. And I mean, I remember them calling me and going, holy cow, this kid is good behind the plate, right? Like it wasn't the ability, but you would have gotten left behind if you didn't do those other things.
No doubt. It was never ability. I never questioned my ability. Playing around those guys in the fall, I was like, dude, I can earn my spot here. I was fighting for the backup role that I eventually won, after fall. And, I got to play a good amount my freshman year for, someone of my size. But, that took a lot of work. Obviously, it took work my whole life to be able to get to that point. And then once you get there, how are you going to stay there? And that's working like this. So, it was never ability. It was just, am I going to be able to stay healthy? It's like, this next year, I want to be the guy.
Yeah.
So in order to do that, I got to be able to stay healthy. I got to put weight on. I got to put muscle on. And, I want to be the main guy back there in all these big games. And it's like, if my body's breaking down or whatever the case may be, it's that's what we got to put work on this freshman year and do all that.
Yeah, it's a great testament to kids who are going to play college baseball, because that's really what I see of recruits now when they go off to college is, look, you've got the ability. You can play the game. The game. You've played a lot of high level games, right? But can you handle the day in and day out of college baseball, which is, it's a business, and it's big business, especially in the SEC. And you're going to get there every day, and you are going to lift every day. You're going to eat right every day. You're going to be told where to go, when to go, what to do. And it is a difficult thing for some kids, especially, and I want to say this the right way, the kids that it came easy to. Right? Like that's really what makes it difficult for players when they get to college, is those kids that it never came easy for you. You had to work, like, because you were always undersized in high school. You were always, right? Like you worked harder than most kids, and you had your 2 older brothers, obviously, to help you say, hey, this is what you need to do. Right? Like, there's a video out there of you on YouTube. I think you're going into your junior year, and it's of your workout.
Yeah,
And
let's not tell people about that video. That was
no, Case, no, that video is awesome. Do you know why that video is so awesome? Because
uh
you're an undersized kid and the workout is insane. And you had chains around your neck. You had and that's what it took for you to get to that level, right? Like, so yeah, you might be embarrassed about the video a little bit, but it was a great video as far as what your work ethic was. And I think that's what talking to those coaches, that's what I sold. You're not going to get anybody works any harder.
yeah, I mean, and that was something that was instilled with me and like in my parents, and then it was never like something I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
Like I was with my brothers, I was just like with my siblings, it was never like it was never work. It was like this is what we're all doing together. You know what I mean? So it just like over the course of time, just I loved it so much that I got to be with them and we're all working. They were both playing at that time, so we're all working towards the same goal. So and then I get to Arkansas and it's like obviously it's easier for me to be able to do these things because of all the incredible resources we had there. The Jones Center, meal like these meal plans, everything. So it was easier for me to do that then, and it was just like, well, this is just something we got to do. It was never like I had a choice. I was like, well, this is what my goal is. This is a step to that goal, so we take that step. So, I give all the credit to my family, and obviously, especially my older brothers. Just I saw hard work from when I was 4 years old. I saw what it took, and it was like, well, this is what I want to do. So let's do it with them.
Yeah, that's so awesome because obviously you were lucky enough to have the role models, but I think now kids have enough social media to see how guys made it and what guys do to make it, and it's their choices whether or not they do that or not. And what's going to be great for you and like when you were at Arkansas, you had those role models and you had guys that literally taught you and helped you and coaching staff. Your sophomore or your freshman year, you played in some games. I remember coming out and watch you play against USC. And funny story about that, Van Horn walked over and saw me there and came over and said, "Hey, by the way, if you call, I'll answer. Casey's going to be pretty unbelievable." So I appreciate you giving me some cred right there. But ultimately, your sophomore year, you win the job. And talk about how that felt and the pressure of playing in front of 16,000 people, at the University of Arkansas, because that's got to be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Before I talk about that, I got to get like a shout out to Matt Shumway. He was a trainer of mine when I was growing up too. Like I don't get to talk about him enough. Like he was an unbelievable part, getting to work out, and he was the main trainer for me and my brothers. I just want to give him a shout out and just everything he's done for me, especially in that side of my life. Like I wouldn't feel right without leaving him.
That's awesome.
With leaving him out. So, but yeah, you get there and it's hilarious. I'm talking to my fiance now about it because she grew up in New York where they, around there, they don't really care about like sports, especially college sports. Like they love the Yankees, the Mets, the Bills, things around there.
Yeah, they've got a ton of pro sports.
So then talking to her about college, all she knows about pro baseball is like what she's seen me go through over these past couple of years, and that's minor league baseball. And it's, sometimes you'll get, 10,000 fans at like a huge thing, but it's huge stadiums and, they're gone in like the fifth or whatever, or you'll get 500 fans. So it's like, you don't really know. So explaining to her SEC baseball has been like one of the best parts of my week or this whole process, because it's like, how do I explain it? How do I explain, like, I'm going to take her to an SEC football game and there's going to be like tens of thousands of people all screaming "Woo Pig," and she's in for a whirlwind that I like can't wait for her to see. And then explaining like Arkansas baseball, it's like there's no place like there was three places. It was Arkansas, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss, where it was like, what is this? Like, what is this place? You don't think it's real when you first see it. It's just people care. Like people are so invested in this, and it's like I'm 19 years old, and it's like you get treated like a celebrity. It's like I'm just doing what I love. Just these people care so much. It's so funny to have to try to explain that to her, and it's like you'll just get to see it. You'll get to like live that out. But the fans of SEC baseball. I remember we were playing Ole Miss. I think the final score ended up being like 16-14, but it was a Sunday. It was a getaway day. It was for the series. We were up like 11-1 in like the third inning. We were blowing them out like this. And like a lot of places, like teams would leave. I hate giving Ole Miss credit right now, by the way,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it just explaining SEC baseball. It's like it's a game where it's like they're going to win by 20. Everyone just let's leave, and their fans just kept going. And it's like that's the same way at Arkansas. It's like they're going to be on you from before first pitch because they're going to get there an hour early, and they're going to be yelling at the opposing team, and they're going to be there to celebrate with us when we win or in agony and defeat. Like there is no other like community like that I've seen like Fayetteville, you know, and I give credit to those other schools because like they have a resemblance of that, but there's no it's 10 to 14,000 people, and then there's a state watching.
Yeah.
That's all driven towards the same goal, and that's winning this one baseball game. And it's unbelievable, man.
Well, and you're right. I think the biggest thing is like Arkansas and Mississippi, they don't have professional sports, right? Like you're looking, this is their pro, this is their Sunday afternoon. This is, you know, Saturday afternoons in the SEC at Arkansas. That's their pro football game, right? Like, and your baseball games are their pro baseball games. And so there is a following. I got to go to Arkansas one time and I was like, I've never seen anything like that. I've been to Ohio State baseball games. I've been to Michigan baseball games. I've been to a lot of Big Ten baseball games to watch. I had been to Big 12 baseball games to watch. Nothing like what I saw. And it was a non-league, it was a non-conference game that I came to, right? Like it wasn't even a conference game. It wasn't a rival game. And there's 15,000 people there on a Sunday afternoon watching you guys play. And so that time at Arkansas, as you're there, you're getting kind of groomed to go play professional baseball. And then, you know, we had COVID, right? Like right in the middle of your you know, basically your draft year. So that kind of put a wrench into things. So you decide to go back to Arkansas for your last year and go try to win a championship. What was that last year there like, knowing it was going to be your last year and knowing, you know, because at that point, I'm sure you're not thinking, oh, I'll be back here someday coaching, or maybe you were, I don't know, you know, but you know, for you, I always felt like there was a coach in you while you played for me. And I know that Van Horn and the pitching coach there felt that way. And so talk to me about that last year at Arkansas, and then we'll get on to your pro career and back to you coming back.
Yeah. I mean, you think back to that COVID. So COVID year happens. Obviously the world goes into a panic and no one really knows what that means. We were ready to go. We were starting SEC play. We were about to get on a plane to go to Mississippi State, I believe. And it was like, something was weird. Walking into the building, it was like, hey, I don't think we're going to go. This, that, and the other. And it was like, okay. And it just happened so fast. It was like, okay, this series got canceled. It's like, all right, we'll make it up. And then, you know, you see like some of the Ivy Leagues cancel, like the next day cancel their whole season. And it's like, okay, like that's, you know, we'll see what happens with us. And then I remember Van Horn giving me a call. I was out with some of my buddies. I think we were at the pool because class just got canceled. So we're like moving to online. So it's like, all right, let's go to the pool. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah.
And he calls me and he's like, gives me this news. And, you know, in that moment, it was so weird. I'm sure it was for everybody. Like it was such a weird, like, what's going to happen? Like what's next? And then the draft came and they shortened the draft. And I thought I was going to go, ended up not going. And I just remember like, I was devastated during that. It was so tough. Obviously I had a home in Arkansas to go back to that I was so excited about, but it was just like, you build this anticipation. And then now looking back, it's one of the biggest blessings in my life because I got to go and my brother got to come to Arkansas and be with me. And that's one of the best years, like most fun years of baseball I will ever have.
And we're talking about like, Shane. We're talking about Shane who came and coached. That was his first year coaching, right?
I'm trying to remember if he was at UNC for some role before that and then took this on. Yeah. Oh, that's a blur, man. But yeah, he came with me, and it was just like being around him for a year. And you know, my oldest brother Jake was also coaching, and just having those two, and especially one like being with me through the grind every day, it was like that's when I think my love for like what he was doing or what they were both doing like started. Okay. Just because
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was just like seeing the passion behind him in it, and he's so good with things of like explaining to guys, and he has his own personality, which if you meet Shane, it's like you'll learn it. But it's like he is so good of translating, which I think is sometimes lost in coaching. It's like guys are so smart. Whether they played or didn't play, they're so smart and they understand the game. But to be able to like fluently talk baseball, it helps like a guy who's been through it and a guy
Yeah,
who can like talk
absolutely.
that situation. So I just remember that year. I mean, we were an incredible team. We ended up getting beat in the supers that year, but it's like that was one of the best years I can ever imagine. Just
A lot
playing
of clutch,
baseball
a
like
lot of
that.
clutch hits for you that year too. A lot of
Yeah,
walk offs, a lot of you getting tackled in
yeah,
the outfield after a walk off hit. I remember that, and
yeah.
it,
There was fun in that year, man.
yeah, talk about the coaching staff that you had there because most of them are still there, right?
Hmm.
Like it's not like a lot of colleges where the Arkansas staff kind of rolls over, or where the staff rolls over because guys are going out and getting opportunities, and it's not like these guys can't get opportunities. It's that they don't leave because they're at Arkansas. And so,
Hmm.
talk about the staff you had, and your relationship with the pitching coach, your relationship with the hitting coach, and how that helped you also go maybe, hey, this might be something I want to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much. I mean, head coach, hitting guy, assistant was there my last year. Pitching coach, assistant pitching coach, and then another assistant pitching coach. Like, there's so many guys that are still there that seeing them as coaches was obviously incredible because you learn so much from them. And then, being around them for as long as I was around them and still keeping in touch, playing pro ball, it's just like these are great dudes also that I want to be around. I want to help like teach this next group or coach this next group to, that ultimate goal of a national championship. So, you get around those guys and I get it. It's like it's tough to explain, but you get around Arkansas baseball and it's got such a magnet effect that it's like it's tough to leave. It's tough
Yeah.
to leave, and it's like you're in the best situation. It's like obviously there's other scenarios, family or a different opportunity somewhere that's going to keep guys away or take guys away, but it's like these guys are in such a good spot and they're so good at what they do that it's like why go anywhere else? Like
That's
you're
awesome.
yeah, so it's like
Yeah.
I'm super excited to get back with them and get back on the same staff and learn as much as I can from them.
Yeah, it's gonna be a nice learning curve for you as you get back to because I know when I stopped playing and I first became a coach, the hardest part for me was like understanding that like everybody's different. You coach each kid differently. Like you saw me as a coach. Some guys I would have to get on them and yell at them and walk them to class. I don't think you and I spoke that much because I didn't need to really say anything to you, right? I let you call every pitch. We talked about maybe hitters every now and then. The only time I probably ever talked to you is when you were down on yourself and I had, hey, you're good. Let's go. You're all right, right? Because I think that's gonna be the hardest part as a new coach is learning how to talk to each player individually, even though you have the same message for each player, but how you deliver it to each player, you might do it differently so that they understand it. Some guys are visual learners, some guys are I have to do it 10 times before I learn it, right? Like what kind of learner were you as a player in pro ball?
Um, Dude, it just comes down to trust with guys. I learned by doing and like I had a feel for things. I talked so much with my brothers about like what they felt or the right way to hit that maybe sometimes like I took what they felt and what they thought a little too much into my own thing
Yeah.
or didn't change it into my own thing. And, that could have led me astray sometimes when it's like, well, I got to figure this out how it makes sense to me. So I've been so lucky being a catcher. It's like I have to talk to all these pitchers and get them through situations, and they're all different as well. So it's like, it's the same thing as coaching. It's like some dudes need, it's like, hey, let's go, let's figure this out. Like you got to be tougher on them. Some dudes, it's like, what you got, man? Just talk to me, like whatever the situation is. So, but it just comes down to trust. Players are gonna change and adapt. Like 20, 30 years ago, you'd yell at a guy and you'd scream at a guy, and that's all you need to do. It's like, well, now these not only are these guys making money, which incredible for them, but
Yeah.
it's a lot more about the relationship. And it's like you have to build a relationship before anything else. I can come in with whatever accolades I have behind my back, and the kids aren't going to care.
Those only last so long.
It only lasts so long. And it's like, yeah, I did all this, but like, why would you care? Or it's like, as a player, it's like, are you going to get me better? Are you going to help me get to my next step? Can I trust you to be in the foxhole with me? And it's like building that relationship before I just dive in and I'm just like, do this, do that. Cause there's a million ways to skin a cat. You know, that's that old saying. It's like, not everything's going to work for everybody. And then there's a lot of things that in their own right will work for guys. So
absolutely.
You know, you build that relationship and then the coaching can come. And then it's like, all right, now that we trust each other to, you know, communicate through all these like situations, it's like, now it grows. Now it grows. Now the relationship grows. Now you as a player, you as an individual can grow. So, you know, that's the biggest thing for me that I've learned, just being with my brothers and being around baseball is you got to trust the guy. You got to believe that they're going to be in the foxhole with you.
Man, you got that down already. I think that's important to really know because it took me a long time to figure that out because I was a yeller. My dad was a, and I was a yeller and I hardly yell at all anymore as a coach. It just doesn't come out like it doesn't do any purpose anymore. It doesn't serve a purpose anymore. We're used to, you could yell at a guy and he'd be like, I'll prove you wrong. Now you yell at a guy and he's like, what's he yelling at me for? Right. Like, so anyway, so you're done with Arkansas that year. You know, you have a great year. The draft comes around and your name gets called in the eighth round, right? By the Cubs. Eighth round by the Cubs. Kind of cool. Your brother played for the Cubs. Your oldest brother played for the Cubs. So you were going to go to some of the same places he went. Jake made it all the way to AAA with the Cubs So talk about what that feeling was like when you got to pro ball, because I'm sure you kind of had a blueprint from your brothers. You were a little different. You weren't going in blind, but it's your journey. So talk about that journey, and let's just kind of real quick. We'll just go through it because you retired a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and it wasn't even announced that you retired till 5 days ago, I think, or something like that. But talk about that journey through pro ball because, man, that's got to be, and I know it's easier now on the young guys because you get your housing paid for and all those things than it used to be. But it's such an unbelievable mental craziness during pro ball, isn't it?
100%. Yeah, it's been. I can't complain about. Or I couldn't complain literally about anything with minor league baseball because of my brothers, because just everything. It was like, this apartment's a little small. It's like, well, we had to live in a shoebox. It's something, it'll go so crazy with them. It's like, spread kind of sucked. It was like, dude, we were sharing a bag of lettuce. It was like, the stories from that time are so much different now. So I always joke about it. It's like, I can't even complain anymore because you guys just, beat me down with what you guys had to go through. But like you said, I had the blueprint. Like I knew pro ball so well for someone who'd never been in it, just because I had two older brothers go through the process. I'd go see them, we talk about it. But even that, like getting into it and like experience, I'm not going to say the business side because everybody talks about it, but it's like, you got to come in, you got to compete, and you got to produce, which that's what it is. That's pro ball. It's like, whatever number you got paid or the price, it's like that'll give you opportunity, the higher that. But it's like if you don't produce in those opportunities, eventually you're going to get less opportunity. So it's like whether you got no money or you got millions of dollars, it's like you got to produce. And so that's like the biggest learning curve guys have to figure out. And that's just like, I'm not even gonna call that the negative side. That's just the side of pro ball that people find out. But and then you get into it and you meet some of your best friends and you build all these relationships and you go to some really cool places. You go to some really bad places too, but it's like you build like relationships you probably never will outside of that. Because you guys you're on a bus together. You're on you're in a airplane together. You're at the field together. You're in a tight locker room together. You are around these guys for 7 months. And longer than that if you go to like early camp. So you're around these guys so much. It's like you build these relationships. Like that's the positives that, should really be talked about more with pro ball. It's like, it's an incredible experience. You learn so much about the game throughout it. And, it's like, lucky me, like I got sent to AA for like the third year in a row. And, obviously I was upset about it. And then I ended up meeting my now fiance. So it's like, it's going to put you in situations that you've never been in. And it's just like, you can take it as a blessing, which it is, or you can take it negatively, which some guys do. But, it's
Those
just
guys
this
don't last
opportunity
long, though,
came
do
up.
they?
They don't last long. It's they either adapt and they learn the feel is like the word everyone uses. They learn that, or they get left behind just because it's like, dude, you got to be a good teammate. And the further like you go up, it's like you see, it's like being a good teammate, being a good dude in the locker room will get you so far in this game that it'll, dudes get contracts in the show because like they're done. Their time playing was probably done 5 years ago, but they're such a good teammate. They're such a good leader. Dudes want them in the clubhouse that it's like, dude, here's another contract. So it's like that's what you learn the higher and higher you grow up.
Yeah, and you tell me, because this has been on my brain for a long time, and I don't think you and I have ever spoken about this, but the automated pitch stuff that's happened over the last couple of years, does that hurt a defensive catcher like you, or does that, or is that doesn't matter? Because I always felt like the catching position now, and I just was watching a Rockies game 2 nights ago where I watched a catcher miss a ball in the 10th inning and cost them a run in the top of the 10th, and they lost the game, whereas he didn't block it. And I'm thinking to myself, Casey would have blocked that all day long. Like, it's like the position is kind of, I don't want to say it's diminished, but it's not, in my opinion, the really good defensive catcher that pitchers love to throw to. Has that diminished in the game at all because of this, pitch?
You're talking about the strike zone,
the strike
ABS?
zone, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because you stole so many pitches in college, it was crazy.
Yeah,
like
it's funny looking back. Like I didn't even feel like I was that good. Looking back to like how much better I got in pro ball, it's like it's crazy. Like looking back at some of those old videos, it's like, dude, how'd I catch like that? It's like my hips would break immediately. But it's, I think the toughest place to play, and I talked about this a good amount, or toughest place to like steal pitches is AAA. I really believe that because those umpires are so good. Like obviously they're right next to being a major league umpire, and they're trying to be so good and get every pitch that the margins are so tight.
Okay.
And then when they get to the show, it's like they get, they're in that union, and that union's strong. And it's like maybe, dudes who have been around a little bit, maybe they're not, I'm not trying to say not be as good because that's not the case. Everyone's trying to be as good at their job, but, they take a little step back and then you can, frame a little easier up there. So I think that's the toughest place to receive pitches and get strikes. But I think in the big leagues, like you still see guys, because you have to be smart with the challenges now. You only get 2. If you get it wrong early, you lose it. So it's kind of like when to use it, early in the game, probably not the time ever, unless it's a bases loaded, 2 outs, 3-2. It's like probably not the time ever to use a challenge because the risk to reward just isn't worth it. And then, as the game goes on, you probably want to use it more because you can't take them with you. And those are higher leverage situations against, elite arms coming out of those bullpens. So I don't think it's taken it away. Baseball has changed so much over the past 10 years, whether like that stances have changed to 1 knee down versus like old school traditional, the throwing out of that, the receiving has come, instead of just sticking and hold it, it's now we're moving every pitch. It's come so long in such a short gap that I think people see it and it's like, that's too different than what it was.
Yeah.
Then that it's tough for them to gauge it, but then it's like you break it down and like being in it every day and talking about it, it's like there's a reason everyone does all this. Like, if you saw 1 or 2 dudes doing the 1 knee down stance and like the rest of them are still traditional, it's probably like, this is kind of a niche thing to do. But since it's like all 30, all 60.
Oh yeah, everybody in pro ball's doing it. Everybody in college ball's doing it now.
Exactly.
And now it's filtered down to high school, which drove me nuts because as a wild pitches and pass balls drive me nuts as a coach, right? And kids are trying to emulate what you guys are doing, and they're not quite capable yet because we don't know how to teach it, right? Like we don't know how to teach it. They just see it and try to emulate it, and then they're a little awkward and they can't move as well. And so things happen. Eventually, I think guys will get really good at it, and it'll be the way everybody catches eventually.
Yeah.
But okay, that answers my question. I really felt like you were kind of put because you were so good defensively and you pitchers wanted to pitch to you. And like, I always felt like this thing was going to hurt your career, but you don't really feel like it did. You feel like it is what it is, right?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, who's going to hit? Like, that's the name of the game. Like, you got to hit, man. Like,
It's always been that way.
It's always been that way. There's no need to sugarcoat it. It's like, I didn't hit enough to, get more and more opportunities. And that's fine. There's no need to like beat around the bush with it. If you hit, they're going to find a place for you to play. If there's already that spot taken, but you rake, learn a new position. Like, they're going to teach you a new position.
I remember you were hitting pretty well at AA and they put you at first base.
Yeah, exactly. So like stuff like that, it's like, it's so important. So then you add on top, like catchers have to hit enough, right? Like catchers typically, there's outliers like Langoliers and, Raleigh last season. Like there's outliers of dudes who are going to rake and, be good back there.
Yeah.
But typically it's like they just need to hit enough to where it's like they need to move the ball forward and do things like that, take good at bats, run into one. I think Maddox said it's like set up and hit a home run. You know what I mean? Like that's all I need is catchers to do. And it's like that it's transitioned from that nowadays. It's like you need to do a little more than that. But the name of the game is hit. So if you hit and you can play defense and you can play everywhere, it's like, dude, you'll get more and more opportunities. But that's the name of the game.
That's awesome. All right, we're going to talk now about how this all went down because it's crazy. Because a month ago, I wouldn't even have thought this could be a possibility. Maybe you were already talking about it then, but nobody knew. Nobody, right? So how did Dave Van Horn call you and have that conversation with you when you're still playing pro ball? Like that's got to be that's got to be a weird, why is Van Horn calling me? Like, talk to me about that because that's got to be kind of weird.
Yeah. I think it was about a month ago. I don't even think I would have thought this opportunity was possible. I think it was probably about a month ago around then that this whole situation started. But just where I was in my career, just playing time was dwindling down. It was like, I really want to coach like this, that, and the other, like kind of seeing the situation. It's like, I talked to my older brothers and it was like, make sure you have something lined up before you leave something kind of deal.
Oh, yeah.
So that was really a start. But Bobby Wernis, I remember getting off a plane. I think we were heading somewhere, Louisville maybe, I'm not sure, but got off a plane and had a text from Bobby Wernis, who's the assistant coach there.
And he was he was a coach there when you were there, or he played when you were there?
He was a coach there. He played like a few years before me. He was a coach there. He was our first base coach when I was there my last year. And he texted me. He's like, "What's up, man? Like, just checking in." I didn't think really anything of it. I thought it was like strange, just because I was like, in the back of my head, I was like, "Dude, I hope he asked me to come coach. That'd be great." And then he finally was like, "You ever think about coaching?" I was like, and it got to the point where I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Let's get a little more serious about this." Then got on the phone with Van Horn, and he was kind of describing to me everything that the situation would be and that the role would be, and he was really wanting to make sure I was okay leaving and being done playing before I did this, which, all the credit to him. He's an unbelievable guy. I cannot wait, to get back around him. But he was really making sure it was like, you kind of know the like pros and cons of this. And I keep telling people, I wish it was a tougher decision. Maybe if any other school had called and given me this opportunity, I would have finished out my contract and done it and not retired and kept playing just to see.
Yeah.
But like when that was presented to me, there was really no con of doing it. Like I was so excited for it.
Yeah.
I wanted to do this for so long. I always had a thought of me, like, I want to go back there when I'm done playing.
Oh, yeah. You had mentioned that to me a long time ago.
Yeah.
That would be the ultimate, like that would be perfect scenario.
Yeah, 100%. It's just, I couldn't believe how the situation was, presenting itself, that I just had to jump on it. And, so that's what I keep saying is like, it was an easy decision for me, which might have been, a different situation, playing time, whatever might have been different. But given the circumstance I was in and how it all came about, like, dude, I ran after it.
Yeah, I think I've told people that. I've said, hey, listen, if it was Eastern Michigan where I went to school calling Casey, I'm not sure he would have left, right? Like, I'm not sure he would have retired. Like, and I think people it's funny because I think some people get the notion that you were cut. And at no point were you cut or anything like that and then decided to pursue this. This was something that came along during your playing career, while you were still playing, while you were still active, while you still had opportunities. And you had to make a tough decision, even though you said it's not that tough. Every player saying, hey, I'm going to hang up the cleats. And that's hard because, I think we talked about this a little bit before we got on. I'm going through an awkward time where I'm done coaching and I'm trying to figure out what my next thing is, right? Like, you're lucky you have it. You've got something going. And so now you've got this role. You've got this role with the University of Arkansas, the school you played at, one of the top schools in the country for baseball, in the best conference of baseball. And it's literally like you're going to now be a coach and a mentor to kids. Where does that, like, what is that? How does that wrap around your head? And you're going home. And how does that wrap around your head and go, okay, I got to get versed in this, versed in this, versed in that, right?
Yeah, 100%. I don't know if it's fully, like, I've been so excited for this since this opportunity came up, and it's like, I don't know if I've fully wrapped my head around it yet, and like how I know I'm incredibly blessed with this and to be able to have this opportunity. But I think once I get out there, I'm in Tennessee right now, so maybe when I get out there and I get to soak it in a little more, it'll be like, man, kind of a whirlwind, but there's nothing but like positivity going into this, and getting to be around these guys. And there's pressure with it. There should be pressure with it. I got to come in and kind of prove myself, obviously, like everyone does in this new rule. Go and improve like what I can do and keep proving that. And more and more responsibilities I could get, I keep proving that. So I'm just so excited to be able to do that. It's like I want to be able to do as much as I can and help in any aspect I can. And that's just what the coaches decide, and what the other coaches think I can do, and the responsibility that they give me. I want to prove that, if I don't know it, like that's my biggest thing. I don't care about being right with anything. Like, I just care about getting it right. And like, it right is the players and, winning games. So that's my ultimate goal. Like, I don't need to be the guy that it's like, oh, I had a hand in this, like blah, blah, blah. It's like, let's go win games. However I helped in that is awesome. Let the players, reap all the rewards and have the success that they have because of all the hard work they put in. I just want, maybe to guide, maybe to give such a small thought that helps change their career or change their mindset. It's like, that's all I want to do. I don't need this big, success story of, I helped this guy and I'm the reason for anything. It's like, dude, that's not me. That's not who I'll ever be.
It's funny because coaches, you're going to learn this. It's just like, it's like being a quarterback in football. Coaches get blamed or get too much credit when you win, and you get way too much blame when you lose, right? Like, I'm telling you, because you're not the one with the bat in your hand any longer, right? Like, you can't control the uncontrollables. And so what exactly is an offensive analyst? Are you going to be game day? Like, are you going to be just helping guys with their swings? Or is it like, what's the whole gambit of what an offensive analyst is?
Yeah, I think it's a lot goes into it in terms of baseball, kind of what I can help and what I can't help with. Obviously, I think I'm going to coach first base. Hopefully that's been talked about. Hopefully I really get to do that. I'd really love to do that. Be working with the hitters. And I'm so lucky that I can work with the catchers a lot. That'll be obviously my main focus. But that goes into the pitching side. And, Matt Hobbs is the pitching coach there. He's an incredible coach. He knows his stuff beyond belief. So the more I can learn more of that side from him, the more I can be well-versed in it and help on that side. So I don't know if it's necessarily like, daily tasks of this, and this. It's, I know I can help in this area. And like I was saying earlier, the more I can show that I can help in other areas, maybe that leash gets a little longer and then I can coach
Yeah,
more and more and do more and more. So, I'm absolutely stoked to kind of learn the ins and outs of it.
that's awesome. When do you get to Arkansas?
It'll probably be next weekend sometime. I think our first team meeting is the Sunday before school starts. So that's 15, 16, somewhere around there.
Okay, awesome. And you going to make it back to Colorado at all?
We'll see. Maybe if there's a big time recruit out there, maybe that'll take me back. But I really want to get, my roots planted there in Arkansas and, get comfortable there, just so we can kind of hit the ground running with guys of when we start, fall ball and practices and all that.
It's pretty amazing to see your journey and what has transpired over the years. Ups, downs, life lessons. What's the biggest thing if you had to say to Casey Opitz at age 16? Like what would be your biggest advice or something you would say, hey, do this differently or whatever for your future? Like, you know what I mean? Like we all look back and go, God, I wish I would have made that decision a little bit better. I wish I would have done this a little bit. What can you look back on and go, man, I wish I would have done this just a little bit different in my career? Because you don't have a lot to complain about. You've said that.
Dude, that's the tough part is like, I had two older brothers to kind of tell me like, hey, do it like this. You won't regret it. They went through the whole journey. So I'm sure there's things that I could have done better in the, but like the way my journey is planned or, panned out, like there's nothing that, I wish I could take back. Like I went out there and just played hard and played the game what I thought was the right way every time. And like when I decided to retire, it's like I didn't have any hangups because I didn't give it my all. It's like, dude, I've been training and working for this since I was 5. And the ultimate goal, whatever, of playing in the big leagues didn't happen. And it's like that could sting and burn and cause me to lose sleep. But it's like instead it's brought me to this opportunity, which is like, dude, that's unbelievable. In baseball, it's like I could never be angry towards it because it has brought me like my family and how close we are and this job opportunity. Like I said, it's brought me my fiance. It's like there's nothing I want to regret in the past because of where I'm at now. It's all those little things that brought me to this place. So
Yeah,
if I
that's
had
awesome.
advice to a 16-year-old, I'd say go out there, have fun, play as hard as you can, and just be the guy that teammates want to be around. Like that's the ultimate advice for anybody. It's like be that guy and you're going to be able to hang your hat at night and sleep well.
I love that. All right, we're going to talk family just a little bit before I let you go because I've never been around a family like yours in my life. It's the closest family I've ever seen. You guys got each other's backs, and we've talked about Jake and we've talked about Shane a little bit. Talk about your sister
there
a
you
little
go.
bit, man. Because
she'll love
just
this.
Yeah. Because to me, like, and I'm going to be totally honest. She's a hairdresser here in town. My wife goes to her, and my wife comes back every time going, "Oh, I love that girl." So talk about Jess a little bit, and tell me about your relationship with her and how because she posts about you all the time and she loves you and is so proud of you. So talk about that a little bit.
She's just one of the most selfless people you'll ever meet. Like genuinely, she would get into a car. She would get stuffed in to a Suburban at 4 a.m. with 2 brothers that are watching horror movies the entire ride. And she's in high school and she'd never complain about it. She'd go and she'd watch us and whatever she could do, she'd support everything. It's like, I love my brothers. I get emotional talking about Jessie, man. Like she has meant so much to this family. And now she's got an incredible family with 2 incredible boys that are going to be first rounders one day. And it's just like her selflessness is like, she's such a role model in so many ways. And I'm glad you brought her up because she's given us so much grief about not talking about her and, interviews. And it's like,
people don't know about her, like
exactly.
They will because she's going to be the mom of, like you said, I've seen her 2 boys. They're bruisers, man. Like, and it doesn't hurt that her husband's 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah, exactly.
Like it doesn't hurt. She was smart there, obviously, and you know, John was a good basketball player at Heritage, and but you guys, like, for me, watching that family, it's funny because the guys, but the women in your family, like, they hold it together,
100%.
right? Like Jess
100%.
and your mom Melanie, who I've known for years, and like, I'm telling you, man, it's amazing. And I'm glad we brought up Jess, because again, you're right. Like, she doesn't get enough credit. She doesn't get enough of what she did for the journey of all three of you, right?
100%. We couldn't have done it without her. We couldn't have done it without, we wouldn't have this family like dynamic without her. And we wouldn't have had the success we've had without her. Like, she is loyal beyond belief. Like, she's so dedicated to this. She just wants to see us happy. And, you know, we can't thank her enough. So it's like, it's her and my mom, just my parents are just, it's unbelievable the amount of blessings that I've been given with the family that I have. And it's like, I'll be so thankful for all of them till the day I die.
Yeah. Mom and dad are fired up about this next journey for you. And I am too. And Case, listen, I know we talk every now and then, but I got to tell you, man, like, watching you grow up and watching you become the man you are, and watching you do what you've done and all the things you've done for me, camps, talking to players, everything you've done for me is, you know, after you left Heritage, you didn't have to, but you have done so much for the game of baseball in the state of Colorado. I can't tell you how proud I am of you, and I cannot wait to watch this next journey for you and watch you grow. And ultimately, one day I want to see a full Opitz family running a college program. Like, that's my goal, like, to see that and be just in the stands watching you guys coach together. And that would be the ultimate for me. But let's take care of things first. Let's take care of Arkansas. Let's get you out there and get you rolling. And I can't thank you enough for being on the podcast. It went a little longer than I wanted it to, but talking to you is like talking to like a brother. So congratulations. Good luck. Hopefully I'll have you back on down the road. Look forward to seeing you again, and congratulations again on the fiance and the next step in your life. Good luck to you. And again, thank you so much for being on the show with us.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Obviously, like, you talked about how you got me at Arkansas. If you're not the persistent guy you are, who knows how this all pans out. So, like, unbelievable credit to you. You'll be along, you know, every step of the way with us just because you're so close to the family. We'll start scheduling more of these interviews because I love this, man. Like, me talking baseball, and, you know, next time it will be a little less about me, which is great, which I'd rather have.
I know. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. But more about, like, baseball. It's like, dude, I love talking about this. I love seeing the evolution. That's why it's tough for me to get out of it. So I'll always be around baseball. But thank you again.
Keep God first, keep family second, and keep that wife of yours happy, and then, you know, take care of business on the field. Appreciate you guys. This was Casey Opitz, brand new offensive analyst at University of Arkansas. Come back to the Scott Horman podcast anytime. Leave a comment. Get a